Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. Responsible Nishma Saim Yakasholim. And we have a sitzuk we're holding in Sanhedrin Daf Chov Dalet. We're starting Daf Chov Gimel and with base in the last line. Kioso Rabin al Abirchon. The mice in the middle of the sugya, because the sugya is we learned in the previous daf. The Gemara was asking what will be the reason that one can be poisel de'edim. So came Rav Dimi and in the name of Rav Yochanan and said that we're talking about two kitei. He has two groups of edim, and therefore, if he's poisel ish gefelach, he has another cast of edim. That was the cheshbon of the Gemara yesterday. So the Gemara Kiosu Rabin Rav Yochanan. Rabin said Rav Yochanan Reisho Dachov Dalam Dalet Be'edim Sulim Dayonim Ksherim. They were talking about the Eidim Psulim in Dayanim Ksherim. You get the past the Eidim, past the Dayanim. In other words, the Eidim were Pasul Medina. It is Pasul. So you have a Migo. Migo is Pasul the Eidim, is Pasul the Dayanim as well. But Sefer the Psulim, the Eidim Ksherim. But by the Sefer, it's the opposite. It starts the Dayanim Psulim and the Eidim Ksherim. Migo the past the Dayanim, past the Eidim. So you have Migo both sides. Matkyo Ravo, Bishol Migo the past the Eidim, past the Dayanim. You want to say it goes from Eidim to Dayanim, Ika Beidin Achino. So then you have another basin. The Dayanim apostle, you go to another Dayanim. And Nigga the Pastor Dayanim, Pastor Eidim, Va'edim too late. What do you mean? Dayanim, I always can figure out what to do. I'll go to another basin. But Eidim, I don't know if I have more Eidim. We're talking about there is another group of Eidim. If so, you want to tell me there's no other group you can do psul? Hi, no, there of Dimi. That's exactly what Rav Dimi said before. They have to have two groups of Eidim. Says more you can be migoi. The masova min migoi, masova lo min migoi. The migoi is if you're poisel the Eidim, does you see automatically is a poisel the Eidim? Does it go together or not? So, right, Rashi says Rav Sova min migoi be'almu. If you love Achi, you love a possible man. Well, they have Dimi, you love Mini Migu Bal. In other words, the question do you say Migu usually? And do you place the word because of the other, which is something that needs Havana on its own? Something more goofy. So that was really the end of the sugya. How do we answer in the daf of yesterday? How do we answer why one has the right to be placed de'edim? Something more goofy. So Shlokish referred to a mayor. And he said, will a holy mouth say such a thing? Tani Eidu. Can't say that he was placed on both Eidim. He's placed on only one of the Eidim. So Eidim V'Amarula Roy is a Shlokish of Medrash. Someone sees a Shlokish of Medrash. Kilu Oikeor V'Tochanu Zebazeh. As if he takes mountains and he grinds them together because he's such a mefalpo. So what is the Gemara saying? What is Shlokish saying? Peh Kodesh. Shlokish was also quite great. So what do you mean? That's what bothers you? Rameir takes him in greater mountains and grinds them together. So what's your question? No, it's not the point that Rish Lakish praised Rameir. I'm just trying to show how they like and love each other. I find a similar concept. Rebbe says you're not allowed to put cold water to be tomun on Shabbos. My father did allow it. So once he heard that Yossi said it's okay, he said, "Are you rezokin?" Look how much love and respect they have to each other. If Yossi was alive, he would sit in front of Rebbe. In other words, he would be at top of the Rebbe. Because the Shmuel, the son of Rebbe Yossi, he was the same level of his father. And he was bent next to Rebbe like as a Talmud. And still, because of Yossi was nifter, Rebbe gave him a lot of covet. So you see how much respect they have to each other. Something more now. Took two sticks, one is called Noyam, one is called Chayv. Noyam, who's Noyam, they make each other very pleasant halacha. They speak to each other b'ni'imus. They hate each other. Spoke about two items of olive. Shnayim Zeisim Aleh Yitzor Omar Yitzchak Elu Tevichosh Veitzol Shenoichim Lezem Zeb Alok Hashem and Zeis. Yitz refers to the olive oil, and it's very smooth, and that's how they knocked each other. Shnayim Zeisim Aleh talk about the trees, and the Chacham Mishabov Shemirim Zezek Alok Zeis, like the fruit, like the olive fruit, which is very bitter. And the word goes on in Dashins. We'll get back in a moment to this bubble like this whole thing. I see in the Navi says, I see two women that have air in their wings. But to say to take the ephod, the measurement from in the air. Where are they going to? They're going to build the house a shinner. What is that? That's Bavel. Who are these two women they're referring to? Chanufa, the Gosarach, Gaiva, and Chanufa. Sheyar do the Bavel. They went to Bavel. So the Gosarach, Bavel Nochitz. Gosarach went to Bavel. So they went to Elam, not to Bavel. So is the Gosarach in Bavel and Elam? So when he went to Bavel, and then it moved to Elam. I have to understand what that means, but it can't reach to Bavel and then it moved to Elam. Take it out of the it went to Beer. It doesn't says Livnois Lahem Bais. Rashi Livnois Labais Loshan Yachid. Only one of the bad midos are in Bavel. The other one went to Elam. Shvaminas, one of all our similar and used, but we said that the point of Gaibo is poverty. And use the Bavel Nochis. We know poverty is in Bavel. So well, my news and news to you. In other words, that news are referring to that causes Gasaruch in Elam is not regular poverty, not monetary poverty, but is Gasaruch or is a news of Toivo. Elam has Torah, but did not teach Torah. Like who? Like, because Rashi brings Daniel, is the one who he was in Elam, and he did not teach. He only learned Torah. And in Ezra, who was in Bavel, he only learned Torah, also taught Torah. My Bavel was Bavel stand for Rabbi Yochanan, Blue b'Mikra, Blue b'Mishnah, Blue b'Talmud, is mixed from Psukim, Mishnah and Talmud, and that's really referring to the Talmud Bavel. As please point out, that's why we have to say all the even though you have to divide your day in learning, if you learn Talmud Bavel, it includes everything. And the Gemara ends with the pasuk: "Hamashachim or Shemani kimatei lo sat in darkness." Mavim is at Talmud Shel Bavel. It's called Choshech. Why is it Choshech? So here, so first you point out. We're going to be more in the Shom on the Daf, that the idea of Bavel is the time of darkness, the Talmud Bavli is a place of darkness, of difficulty, and the mifalfa a lot to come to the halacha, and that takes them away sometimes from learning the or which is beneath. And here is very fitting, and this goes back that the difference between Eretz Yisrael and Bavel, the way they come to conclusions is through struggles. That's why they fight with each other. That's the chayv that we said before. Now you saw very noyach. It's a different type of communication of Torah. Says the Mishnah. Someone tells his friend, I'm accepting your father to be an eight, or you're my father. We saw that we were in the previous daf mentioned. Or 3 Rei Bakar, which are not real kosher, they don't know, they're not kosher. I got me Dayonis, we're talking about. He can change his mind. He agreed, change his mind. Once he accepted it, he can't change his mind. Someone has to do a shvur. He tells me, you know what? I'm not going to ask you a full shvur. Just do a shvur on your head without the name of Hashem. So he says, am I accepting a lower level shvua? That is a machlekes. Once you said it, can you retract? So the Gemara meaning he accepted the father to be one dime. So even though there's two people with him, he can still change his mind. The machlokes is, when we're talking about the plaintiff is the one who's accepting it. And he says, you know what, if this Dayan paskins against me, I'll moichel you. You don't have to pay me. So it's the teveya, it's the one asking for the money, accepting the Dayan. Aval be'eten lecho, we're talking about the defendant. Reuben goes to Shimon and tells Shimon, you owe me money. Shimon says, you can take a Dayan, take my father as a Dayan. Everybody agrees with Cholach, because here you want to take out his money that's in his hand, so he can say, you know what, I changed my mind. Machlokes is in the case of a ten lechol. In other words, even when you don't say over here once you accept him as a dayan. So we ask, do you say the machlokes when you say ten lechol? And the mochel, everybody agrees, of course, he can't change his mind because he's only holding on to the money. In other words, the plaintiff can't change his mind, or deal be mizu machlokes. Maybe the machlokes is in both. According to Rabbi so Toshma Domar machlokes beten lecho, or mochel lecho divrei hakol in cholasvoi. Rabbi said that ten lecho is machlokes, mochel lecho, everybody agrees he cannot change his mind. Yolam b'shema beten lecho machlokes. Av mochel lecho divrei hakol in cholasvoi. More than that, so Rabbi Yochanan said as well. Rabbi Domer kabechon. And the only way mizu is a machlokes. Rabbi Domer kaman. Want to say Rav is not going like anybody? It's more yes. Rav time didn't have sheikh on. He goes with his own time, his own shito. So we see Rav Acha about the Khalifa of Rav. He owes his friend the shvur. We said a shvur, a lower level shvur. Machlokes, can you change his mind or not? That's the machlokes in our mission. Here's the one that Chodal base. Usually shvur, what is a shvur for? The shvur is not to pay. Tells him, you owe me money. So I don't. Do a shvur and you be butter. So the shvur is on the, we're talking about the one who's doing the shvur is the loivin, the defendant. That's exactly like the makalach. He tells him, you don't have to pay. And that's what he's accepting himself. So, in other words, we're talking about machlokes. You see over here, that's not like Rabba that says machlokes is machlokes. Saying we're talking about the exception to the rule when the shvur is in order to take out money. Does a shvur and takes out money? For example, if he's chashud on a shvur. So the nitba, the plaintiff, the defendant says you'll do a shvur except in a shvur. So the shvur is not on machlokes. Shvur is on a tenach. We said already the case before, we said with ten lechon in the beginning. In other words, once we mentioned that's the case that we had before in the Mishnah. So there's two. Means I'm willing to accept your father, my father, as a dayan. It means I'm accepting your shvur. I made the matzah, you can change your mind. You should go more market. He's not really accepting it, right? In other words, he says, I'll take my father to be a dayan. So for sure my father will say like me. Then the father says differently. He says, I never accepted it. If you're doing it on his own, maybe you agree that he can't change his mind. Because he knows from the beginning. Usually they can't change his mind. That you could change his mind. In both cases, I tell you that the same opinions apply to both. The whole machlokes is before Gmardin. Once the din was over, you can't change your mind. You can't say, I'm not going to accept this lower level thing. Machlokes is after Gmardin. Do you say only after the machlokes? But before you enter the day and everybody agrees, you can change your mind. Or deal in Beimizu machlokes, maybe machlokes in both. So what Toshma Domar Rovo. Kibel alav korov opasul lifnei Gmardin yochol hasaboy. Nachal Gmardin yochol hasaboy. Right? She accepted himself a dayan who's a korov or a apostle. She could change his mind before Gmardin, not after. If you tell me that after Gmardin, that's the machlokes. Before Gemara Din, anybody can change his mind. Rav Adom, like Rabbi Yochanan. So this is very good. Rav is like Rabbi Yochanan. We're talking here after Gemara Din, yes. Before Gemara Din, you can always change your mind. After it's a machlokes, he passes like one. According to one, there's no difference. Before Gemara Din, after Gemara Din. So you see, now why are you not saying over here the Rav is saying is Daita Nafshi? Right? So Rashi's asked this question. So he says, Rav did not speak about the Machlekes. He just said halacha. This from the previous case, Rav said his opinion. You can say that opinion, argues Rabbi Yochanan. But he was not saying his opinion, just saying a psak. He doesn't explain the Machlekes. So to come and say that he has a new explanation in the Shita that we don't say. So more says Shramino. Sholach le Rav Nachman bar Chizda Rav Nachman bar Yaakov. Yom Din Rabbeinu. Teach us. Lifnei Gemara Din Machlekes ulachak Gemara Din Machlekes. The discussion we just had. Va'alocha kedim mi. What do we paskin? Sholach le la'achak Gemara Din Machlekes. Machlekes is achak Gemara Din. Mashma only achak Gemara Din. Right? In other words, that after Gemara Din, can you change your mind? Before Gemara Din, for sure you can change your mind. Va'alocha kedim mi chachamim. That was he cannot change his mind. The first suffix that we had is the thing work only for the when the plaintiff says it, also when the defendant said it. Machlekes is betelach. In other words, machlekes is regarding from the plaintiffs. In other words, when you have a mitzvah chavel right, but if he's holding up, if it's machlech, he can't change his mind. It says he cannot change his mind. So Basur Manuachi, what is Manuachi? Sur they said the way we just said it. What did they say? Omar Chriya Basham Sholchim in Beirav Shmuel. The question was before Gmadin he did a kinyan. Before Gmadin, without a kinyan, for sure he could change his mind. But what happens if he did a kinyan? Once you do a kinyan, you can't change your mind. So why is a discussion? We have a machlekes when one accepted something out of the ordinary. Can he change his mind or not? Machlekes. But Shalom is when is a machlekes? When he has a mitzvah chaver or he doesn't have a mitzvah chaver? When it says or is a machlekes before Gmadin after Gmadin? And the more brings them in shittas out to say that point. We'll stop over here and brings Hashem. We'll continue from this Mishnah in the Daf of Shabbos. Have a wonderful Shabbos, everybody, and Kol Tuv.